Today's episode really shows you why you should never, ever pick up hitchhikers. Welcome back to another video, guys. My name is Harmon. Now, I'm not saying that every single hitchhiker is going to try to kill you. However, this case proves how bad and how dangerous picking up a hitchhiker can be. 40-year-old Vivian Mitchell ended up killing the lady who picked her up, as Vivian Mitchell was a hitchhiker. She traveled around a lot by foot and she hitchhiked a lot. And so on March 16th, 2003, 40-year-old Vivian Mitchell was picked up by a nice lady, a 32-year-old named Lynn Weis. So 32-year-old Lynn Weis picked up Vivian Mitchell on Tollgate Road, on the corner of Tollgate Road and where Highway 31 comes through, here in Elgin, Illinois. I apologize if I pronounced this town wrong. It's Elgin. So Vivian Mitchell was picked up by Lynn Weis right here on Tollgate Road. So Vivian Mitchell wanted to be driven to a nearby town less than 10 minutes from here called East Dundee. First of all, a 10-minute ride is probably only like a maybe 20-25 minute walk. I feel like Vivian Mitchell could have easily walked that far, but again, maybe her plan was to just get picked up by anyone and kill them regardless. But anyway, so Lynn Weis picked her up. Along the way to East Dundee, Lynn Weis pointed out on the side of the road, she's like, hey, that's my house, that's where I live, as they were driving to East Dundee. Now, I feel like that probably was a bad idea. You shouldn't tell strangers like where you live, especially hitchhikers that you pick up. So I think that was kind of Lynn Weis's second mistake. First mistake was picking Vivian Mitchell up, but her second mistake was telling her where she lived. For whatever reason, Lynn Weis was like, oh hey, I live right there, as they're driving down the road. Of course, Vivian Mitchell put that into her memory as they were heading out of town. Lynn Weis then dropped Vivian Mitchell off at her destination in East Dundee, and so it seemed like everything was fine. That's not the case though. So Vivian Mitchell, that night that she got dropped off, or the next morning, she hitchhiked or walked back all the way to where Lynn Weis's house was. She broke into Lynn Weis's house. She killed Lynn in her bedroom by stabbing her tons of times. It was a brutal scene when the police showed up. Vivian Mitchell apparently stabbed Lynn Weis 90 times. I can't even imagine that. 90 times she stabbed Lynn to death. That shows like an extreme amount of malice to me. And this is someone that she just met the day before. Then set the house on fire, I guess presumably to destroy all the evidence. She stole Lynn Weis's car, all her credit cards, money, and whatever else she could find. She then ended up driving south to Joliet, Illinois. Joliet, again, is the city where the old Joliet prison is. She drove south to Joliet in Lynn Weis's car. So then the next day, police found Vivian Mitchell in Lynn Weis's car, blood all over the place, and they found like hammers and knives and a whole bunch of other stuff, and of course Lynn Weis's credit cards and everything else. So they arrested Vivian Mitchell that next day. She was sleeping in Lynn Weis's car. How dumb can you be? You kill someone, you steal their stuff and their car, and then you decide to sleep in their car. We'll get into Vivian Mitchell's mental state, but basically she was not mentally sound. They charged her with the murder of Lynn Weis. The 2 knives, the hammer, and lighter fluid they found in the car were all stained with Lynn's blood. The police really had an easy slam dunk case. They had Vivian Mitchell inside the car that she stole of the murder victim. They found the blood and the knives that she used to stab Lynn to death in the car. So all the evidence was like right there presented to them. It probably was like one of the most easiest cases they probably ever had. So the police also found 3 uncashed checks in Vivian's possession, of course belonging to none other than Lynn Weis. They had tons and tons of evidence pointing to Vivian Mitchell as the one who killed her. So Vivian Mitchell was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Initially, the prosecuting team was looking to try to get the death penalty for Vivian, but the judge stated that because Vivian's mental state was so bad, she was mentally basically insane, I guess, when she committed the murders. So they said that they couldn't look at getting the death penalty. So they said the next best thing is we're going to give her life in prison without possibility of parole. At least she can never come out and hurt anyone else again, which is good. Besides the life term that they gave her, they also gave her 30 years for the arson, the home invasion, and of stealing the money and checks. So the 30 years plus a life sentence means that she's never ever going to get out of prison, no matter how many times she tries to appeal her case. So that is good. So anyway guys, next I'm going to show you where Lynn Weis's house is. And it's actually only about, I think, like a 5-minute drive from here. Again, this is why, number 1, you don't ever pick up hitchhikers, but number 2, if you do, don't tell them anything personal about yourself, especially where you live. It's unfortunate and sad that this happened. I just wish Lynn wasn't so carefree and so like trusting that she would just tell a random person, oh hey, there's my house. It's just, don't do that. So West Dundee and East Dundee and Elgin are all within like a 4 or 5 minute drive of each other. So all very, very close related towns. Only like a minute or 2 drive from Tollgate Road is the River Valley Memorial Gardens Cemetery. And on this cemetery property is where Lynn Weis's house used to be. She lived in a farmhouse that was on the cemetery grounds. And of course it burned down from when Vivian set it on fire. So it's not here anymore. But I wanted just to come here just to show you like where the house used to be. It's a very beautiful little cemetery. I'm guessing her house was farther maybe back somewhere because the front area is where the cemetery is. So I'm just thinking her house must have been somewhere back there where there's no grave sites. But yeah, let me show you guys around and then go from there. So I'm just thinking that potentially Lynn Weis's house must have been kind of back in this area, like across that little road. Just for the fact that this entire front area has grave sites, and of course her house wouldn't be on top of a grave site. So I'm just thinking her house maybe was back in the back area over here. So I read that June 6th, 2017, Vivian Mitchell actually attempted to escape prison. Apparently she made it all the way to like the front entrance or front like main gate of the prison before she was stopped, of course, by the correctional staff. Thankfully she was stopped and she didn't make her way out, but yeah, she made an attempt to leave the prison and escape. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Oh yeah, if I forgot to mention, the murder took place on St. Patrick's Day, 2003. If I forgot to mention that, sorry. But I hope it doesn't come across that like I don't feel bad for Lynn Weis. I feel absolutely terrible what happened to her, and I feel for her family. But all I'm saying is that I wish that she was a little bit more cautious, a little bit less willing to tell someone she doesn't know where she lives. That's the only thing I'm saying. I feel bad, really bad, that she was killed and for her family and stuff, but I'm just saying that I wish she took some more precautions, that's all. But anyway guys, we all learn lessons every day. I learn lessons all the time. Sometimes, unfortunately, people learn things the hard way. In this case, it resulted in her dying. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new around here and you enjoy my videos about crime related events or people, just make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's always free, and there's like a little bell notification button next to it. Just click that and click all notifications. That way when I release a video, which is always Monday and Fridays, it'll pop up in your feed and you'll know when I post a video. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Again, my name is Harmon. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. When Lynn, I can't speak today.